My name is Charonda Johnson. I am a 43-year-old lifelong resident of Freedmanstown. I am the vice president of the Freedmanstown Association. I am the president of the 4th Ward Health and Educational Center for Youth Incorporated. I am a third generational family of Freedmanstown. We have 5 generations down here. So I'm the 3rd generation. I'm a grandmother, and the most important part about this process is for me to be able to pass a legacy and pass history down to my grandson. So the most important thing for me is to solidify a legacy for my family and for my grandson within Freedmanstown. I didn't always have this path. Mr. Darrell Patterson, he called me to the side one day and asked me if I could assist him with the girls that he was having in this program. And I was just like, well, yeah, I wasn't doing nothing. I was probably just sitting around at the time, just not doing anything. And I was just like, yeah. And we went to a church off of Jensen. I think it was New Jerusalem or something like that. We went to a church off of Jensen and had a gym. And so they had camera crews set up. And so basically we were doing like a little promotional for funding sponsorship or what have you. And I just had a rapport with the kids because, I'm from the community. And, like I said, I wasn't doing community things then, but, they knew me and we had a certain rapport or whatever. So I was just like basically telling them like, we have to act a certain way to get what we're trying to get. We're doing this for DP. Like, it's not about the people. Like, we're doing this for him because all the work that he done in the community. And then so he just saw like the rapport that I had with the kids, and he just asked me, if I could help, and I was just like, nah, I can't help with these kids. I can give you some money. I can, donate to the program. You're like, nah, I can't help. And he was just like, I know he was disappointed, but I didn't want to mess with them kids, because the way I handle the kids and the way, organization handle the kids is 2 different things. I want to choke the kid. I want to, like how the people did us when we was growing up, but you can't do that now. So I was not interested in that. And what happened was, you'll find your path in life even when you're not looking for it. And in school, history was actually one of my favorite subjects. Like, my last time in school, when I was in HCC, I actually made 2 A's in U.S. history, any kind of all the history. I made A's in history because history actually was my favorite subject, But I absolutely love learning about the past, and so how we cannot make the same mistakes. And Mr. Patterson, he passed away. Mr. Patterson passed away. Now the nonprofits that I represent, they are 40-year-old nonprofits, and all the hard work that Mr. Patterson, Linwood Johnson, Gladys House did, was basically going to slender away because with the gentrification of the community, the neighborhood change, like no one wanted to carry on the mission because it was so much like it's 2021 and we're still under the same attacks, but it was so much down. These people had been carrying on the fight for 40 years. And so, basically everybody was just tired. And I just sitting and I thought about it, and it was like they went to everybody. I mean, everybody connected to this organization, asking them, did they want to run the organization? Did they have anything that they want to do? And basically people were just like, no, because, the property was in foreclosure. It was so much red tape. It was so much things going on that people just couldn't see the clear line. And I just thought to myself, just like, man. And so one of the board members I probably like 2 or 3 days before they were going to just dissolve the whole nonprofit because no one wanted to continue the mission on, he just asked me like, Charonda, would you like to run the Freedmanstown Association and the 4th Ward Health? And I was just like, me? And then basically when he ran it down to me, like nobody wanted the job, and I was just like, so nobody wants to carry on the legacy, and I just couldn't understand why no one wanted to carry it on. But as I got involved, and I did understand, I did understand, and it was like this plight that I was taking on, it was damn near impossible. Like me looking at it now, this was 2016, this 2021 now. Me looking at it now, I don't see how we even made it. I don't see how we got to this far because, like I said, it was just so much against us. The property was in foreclosure, and the property actually got sold from up under us at a meeting. like all kind of crazy stuff, and it was just like so much red tape and so many lies spread about Darrell Patterson, about Linwood Johnson, about Miss Gladys House. And it just like turned the community against the nonprofits, turned the church against the community, turned the, we were all, they just, they dangled carrots down here and they made us bicker amongst ourselves. And then while we were bickering amongst ourselves, they took our community. And we were still trying to fight to, hold on to our historical, our grassroots imprint on this community. And so I thought to myself, like, what would my legacy be? Then I had just became a grandmother. And so I was still in the streets, and I was thinking to myself, like, first of all, I didn't want to have to start over. I didn't want to have to go be locked up again. I've been there, done that. I didn't want to do that again. And so I was just thought, here's an opportunity to just, got laid on my lap. Either you're going to take it or not. And so I knew, like, no one would take me serious if I was still doing the same thing that I was doing in the streets. No one would take me serious because we've had so many of our leaders to pretend to be something that they're not. Because I want you to know where I came from. I don't want you to think like I'm trying to paint some kind of picture. I'm a goody two-shoe. No, I'm actually an example of change. I'm an example of life, because life it teaches you lessons, and it teaches you what you need to know. So I am an example of that. I can't continue to look at myself and continue to do the same things. And so like I said, I was very fortunate. I had a business mind. Even though I was in the street, I had a business mind. So I didn't know at the time because I was asleep. I didn't know. I knew about Freemanstown, but I didn't know about Freemanstown. I knew, the free men and women, laid the bricks. Yeah, they found the community. I knew that, but I didn't put it together. Like I didn't put the whole story together. How just wonderful our community was, and just how wonderful that it could be if we all took the time and effort just to do our part. And the same way I was in the streets about doing things that was not becoming of my community, of my family, that's the same way I am with my organization. I'm just as passionate, I'm just as strong, because when I was tearing down the community, I had all the fire, so I have that same intention, I have that same tenacity as I'm trying to restore and build up my community, because I was a product of the bad things that happened down here. And then now, so I'm also trying to be I'm trying to be the solution for the problems that I caused down here. So that's why I work so hard with the youth, telling them, and showing them that, no, it's different things that you can do to not be in the streets. Like, for instance, like, we didn't have too many people growing up telling us that we could do this and we could be this. We had people basically who were broken, who were teaching us to be part of a system that didn't empower us. And so I don't want to have that same system for my kids. So as part of the Fourth Ward Health and Education Center, we do different things. As far as we have a African indigenous curriculum, so our children can learn about our historic leaders and not just blatantly doing Black History time, because our history started before slavery. We civilized the world twice. Everything comes from us. The Black woman can create all colors of all types of races. And the fact that our children don't know enough about our history and how great our people were, the fact that our history always starts with slavery. That's what's so important about Freemanstown. Freemanstown actually started with greatness. It started with greatness. So it's not, woe, it's me, the slaves. No, it actually started with greatness. And we don't have a slave narrative down here. It started with greatness, and that's what the testament of our people, because we can only partake, we can only partner with each other. And so if we get back to that same mind state, we'll be great. We'll be back in no time. We can have Black Wall Street. We can have those things. Now, Freemanstown is actually the mecca of those things, because we're here and we have basically solidified our footprint. So we're not going anywhere, but we need as much information about the parallels in community engagements and the story, and for everything to connect, and so our people can actually benefit from all this, all the tourism, anything that's coming to Freedmanstown, and as far in the name of the new Freedmanstown or the new vision, anything going on. If it does not profit the community, then it's not a vision. You know, it's the same old that our community and our residents have been going through. Just because I am so invested in this, I want Freedmanstown to be a part of my legacy, because just like I said, you know, I didn't have one until Freedmanstown gave me one, basically. And so I think it would be, you know, it would be unpleasing of my ancestors if I did not recognize such, you know, because you know, I wasn't doing nothing down in these streets, but like I said, you know, doing what I thought was the way to get out of these circumstances, but that's not the way. You know, learning about credit, kingdom building, you know, learning about land ownership. Those are the way, you know, now I'm not trying to condemn, you know, people in the streets, because we all have to walk our own line, you know. So once you see what your line and what your legacy will be, then you'll make the determine for yourself and your family just as well as I did, because, you know, it was a time no one couldn't tell me anything about anything because I knew. But just like I said, life will teach you to look at things in a different light, you know, through a different lens, you know, just like Miss Graham with history through the lens. You know, life will do that for you, like right in front of your face, and you have to be courageous enough to understand and to accept that. See your ways, see your faults, and do something about it. It's easy to stay the same. You know, it was easy for me to keep on selling drugs. That's easy. You know, but it's not so easy for me to try to get my community to understand that, yeah, we did this down here, but now we're doing something else. You know, we on something else now. And there's no finger pointing, there's no blame. It's that we all need to work together to make Freedmanstown and to make the world a better place, because that's what a lot of situations are lacking. It's lacking sympathy and empathy. You know, people pretend as if they can't relate and they don't understand. You understand when you need to understand, and you understand when you want to understand. And so we need to be able to understand people on every level and be able to say, well, okay, well, you're not at the position, at the level that I need you to be, but I'm going to try to help you get to that level. And then instead of us saying, well, she's too this for me, or he's too that for me, and, you know, I don't have time for that, you know, but we need time. They're like how we so easily throw away our youth. Like every time, you know, a teenager, you know, offends you, do something to you, you know, you just, I'm throwing my hands up. You know, we can't do that, you know, because I grew up in a community where if you go down the street and you said a cuss word, everybody that was on the street could whoop you and dared you to act like they couldn't, and dared you to act like you was going to go tell your mama about them whooping you. So when you got home, your mama would whoop you for embarrassing her, and then your mama would whoop you again for you thinking that the neighbor couldn't whoop you. But in nowadays, you can't even tell nothing to the kids because the OGs of the community, they don't want to be bothered. You know, I don't got time for that. But people had time for you, and we throw away our youth. I understand. Like, I know that the media has portrayed our youth out here to being doing so much, and I'm just like, honestly, these kids are wusses compared to us. These kids have not done nothing. These kids are like, no. And so that and they didn't give up on us. Like, we still have people in the community that basically raised us. They still come and check on us in the community. They still did not give up on us. They're so proud of the change, and they're so proud of the people that we have become because they didn't give up on us. And I think that we as African Americans, we give up on our youth too fast. Like we give up on them too fast. And so we have to understand that don't have the correct mind to make the type of decisions, that they should be making. So that's why they have mistakes. But we make excuses for the adults that continue to do the same thing, and we want to give them chance after chance, but we want to write out the youth. I was like, no, we need to, because it's easier to build the mind of a young man than to change the mind of an older man. And so we need to concentrate more efforts into building and uplifting our youth. Now, how are we going to do that? We can't go with these old time methods. We have to come on with something new. So if they interested in Jordans, Gucci, and chains, then we need to find something that gets them interested with that. And if we have to go to them, and we have to relate to them. And so if you can tell them, oh, well, hey, I know where we can get some Jordans at, but I need y'all to learn about this and learn about that. If more incentives for our youth, it wouldn't be as much crime in the area. Just like in Freedmanstown, there's no gym here. The parks are closed because it's COVID, but even after COVID, there's no gym here. So there's nowhere for the kids to have a safe space. Now, yes, we have the park, but the park is wide open. So as soon as it rains, you can't play basketball. As soon as the elements change, then the park is, it's not accessible to you. And so if they would put more funding into things like community centers and multi-purpose centers, instead of things that don't do anything, like certain museums that don't serve the community, that sit in the community, things of that nature. Just like there's not a lot of common sense when it comes to community planning and community engagements for things to actually benefit the community. And so, like I said, if y'all want to know what can stop the crime rate or what can stop, programs, money into things, because you think they're going out to commit crimes because it's fun. I believe they're going out to commit crimes for a necessity. It's a need that they're trying to, and they're looking to find something, and so we need to give them an avenue into where crime is not the first and only thing that they can look at. Like if we need something, we should be able to go to the nonprofits. If we need something, we should be able to go to the church. We should have community support for our residents and for things that we need, And so my association, we provide as best we can, but we are a grassroots association. So therefore, we don't have any federal funding. Like I said, we've been here 40 years, and basically the community take care of us. And so we try our best to serve the community by taking care of the community. And so we need programs, we need jobs, we need things that directly affect the residents, the homeowners, the youth, and not marginalize them because they live in public housing and assume that their vision and what they need don't matter because they're not homeowners. And so that's a big misconception that we have down here, because I advocate for the needy, so it's no need for me to advocate for the new residents who are in $300,000 structures. It's no need for me to advocate for the new residents who have means and they have resources to, continue to build their estates. There's no need for me to advocate for them, but there's a need for me to advocate for the Section 8 applicants. It's a need for me to advocate for the housing. It's a need for me to advocate for the affordable housing units that my association provide, because of the imbalance that's in this community. We have public aid housing, and then we have $500,000 structures out here. So somebody is going to get lost and somebody is going to get marginalized in this historic community, and guess who that is? Us. In the community that we founded, we're marginalized. We're pushed out. We don't have anything. And so it's very imperative that we understand that the fight for Freedmanstown started before a lot of us were even born. Because the fact that we can just take and erase, the fact that they can just take and erase our history within the blink of an eye, on the snap of a finger. That's why it's so important for Ms. Graham and people like myself to be, I consider us to be keepers of history. because we're telling the story. Now they have a historical footprint of stories, and then they have a grassroots footprint of stories. And I represent the living version of Freemanstown. And so we have, I know, a lot of organizations out here, and they are more of the business of Freemanstown. And so it's my job to connect those organizations to the community. And it's easier for me to do it because I'm from this community. And that's why it's so imperative that everyone learns to, no one is an island. Like, we all need each other. We all have our own lane. That's why they call them highways. We have 8-lane highways here. So I don't have to cross into your path and you don't have to cross into mine. But the highway is going toward the forward movement of Freemanstown and our nation as a people. Because we are behind, family. We're behind. And we can't continue to keep following in the same footsteps as far as just continue to blindly give our trust and our admiration to political figures. We can't continue to do that. If they don't represent us, if they are not speaking for us, then they need to be out. I really don't care if they're blue, black, or brown. If they're not putting in programs to help our people, the most marginalized people. The black woman is the most disrespected woman of all. And so if they're not doing programs, then we need to get somebody in there who will. And this political game, I don't like how these politicians come down here and they sing and they serenade us, and they don't give us anything. They just come down here and they preach us a sermon. How woe is us, and things need to be better. They have allocated all these funds we never have seen, funds we don't have nothing about, we don't know anything about. But yet and still, everybody else prospers, but our community steady falls far and far behind with all the new development. And if you didn't know that this place was here, you wouldn't even know that it was here, because they have made it so. They made it so. They often misrepresent us as Midtown. We are not Midtown. We are Freemanstown, 4th Ward, Houston, Texas. It's our proper name. So every time y'all misrepresent us as Midtown, we try to correct you. You are within the historic district, of Freemanstown. Midtown is not a historic district. Midtown is, is a new subdivision that's, across the street and down the way. But they trying to make it. The development, they're trying to sexy up and sell it. And then in another way, they sell that you're going to move into a historic neighborhood. They sell that too. But the same development is not actually giving back to that same historic neighborhood. So basically, everyone is using our demographics and benefiting off of it, and not doing anything to support us. Like right now, the local businesses in the community. We've tried time and time to reach out. And so as the political game, it just seems if you have a profitable business in the community, it just seems right that you would try to give to the community, the actual residents of a community, not to another business that's not serving the community. It seems like that's what you would do. Like you would seem like you would seek out the community. That's what it seemed like you would do. But those kind of connections don't happen. And it's more like just disrespectful, because I wouldn't come to an area and bring a service and I wouldn't not try to see who I can talk to if it's okay for me to even be here, because we have to learn that people respond to help is in the manner in which it's delivered. And so if you are coming with the sincere intent to help us, then we wouldn't have to seek you out. We've been here for 40 years serving the same mission, so I'm not saying that it's your obligation to contact us, but what I'm saying is, since you came here and we've been trying to contact you and we can't seem to get in a response, it seemed like you would want to reach out to the, it don't have to be to me. We have a lot of organizations down here that the business can reach out to. So much crime won't be happening down here to your patrons, to your customers who come into your restaurant, your establishment. And like I said, if those same businesses put, resources into the community, a lot of these mishaps would not be happening within this historic district. It's a shame that those kind of things happen, because we don't want to infringe on anyone. We don't want anyone to feel like they can't come down here and enjoy themselves on any day of the week, because Freedmanstown is a wonderful, a beautiful community. We have a lot to offer you, but at the same time, we have a lot that we are in dire needs of, and programming and resources for our youth is one of them. So I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I remember that we actually went and we voted for a new high school in the community, because as of now, our kids are bused to another community to go to school. So either they go to Lamar High School, either they go to Booker T. Washington, or either they go to Heights. And so the powers that be, told us that they were creating a high school for us, so our kids would not be bust out of the neighborhood, to go to school. So we voted on it, Yeah, it passed. They're going to bring a new school. They actually, I think it might have been 37 families that lost their homes and lost their livelihoods, because it was a street. Because they cut it off, but it's called Mesa. It used to come from this side and it's come over across Gray this way, and they cut it off. And then, lo and behold, when the school comes, it's Carnegie, a Vanguard. And so we've complained about this measures to other entities, and basically what they did, the old bait and switch, because they pretending like they gave us something at the first part of the proclamation. Oh yeah, we're going to make sure that the Fourth Ward and the Freedmanstown community, have another school how it used to be, because Booker T. Washington, the first school, was here. And so they were, kind of, selling us on our history, making like, oh, we can do it again. We can have a school down here. And then because Carnegie, it actually came from Scott. It was on Scott and West Airport. It was at that corner lot. And so it's my mentor affectionately calls it the cheating school, because they say Carnegie cheats all the time and everything. Now, I don't know about that, but that's what she affectionately calls it, the cheating school. And so it seems like that is so, because they cheated us out of the school and they ended up in Freedmanstown, and our children are still being bussed out of the community. I think it might have been in 2016 or 2017. My niece, at the time, she was at KIPP, and I had made a big thing about none of our kids being able to go to Carnegie. Now, I understand that Carnegie is it's a special school, it's a Vanguard. I understand that, and I'm not asking for, special favors, the community, we're not asking for anything special, but what we're asking for is inclusion. So how is it that a kid can start from pre-K all the way to the 8th grade at Gregory Lincoln, and then y'all don't have a pipeline for him or her to go to Carnegie? Then, so what you're doing is what has been happening to our community. You marginalize them. They're not even good enough to go to the school in their community. They have to be bussed out somewhere else. And so that's just continue the disenfranchise that we continue to have, just like the green space, the park that's associated with Carnegie. Most of the time, the gates are locked on our side. They're open on the Taft Street side, but on the Genesee side that's connected to Freedmanstown 4th Ward, it's locked. And so I had actually made a big deal about that when Brother Keith Wade, God bless the dead, when he was here, and he kind of like made sure that it stayed open. Well, my brother's no longer with us, and I went over there the other day and the gate was locked again. And so, like, I don't know who. Now, I understand that Carnegie does have first use of the facility because it's on their property, but Carnegie does not own that property. They have use while the school is in session. So when school is out session, the field becomes the first come and first serve. But how can that be when we're locked out from our side? So now it seems like this is their park and Wiley Park is our park. And there's like, no, y'all, we not finna keep on being marginalized in the community that our ancestors founded. This is our community. So the city, HISD, like I don't even know how that kind of deal even went down. I don't know if it was private funds. I don't know what happened, but all I know is that we voted for a high school for us. They gave us a high school, but it wasn't a high school for us. So it's like a catch-22. Well, we gave y'all a high school,